Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today is the first day of a new series I'm starting that I am so excited about. I am recording this in December 2025, but of course this is a timeless reading, but it's going to be one reading per day, so 31 days to finish off the year. Again, whenever you're listening to this, it's a 31-part individual readings to help you get into that alignment with your highest timeline and just to recalibrate our energy as we're undergoing this massive transformation and powerful pivotal shifts. So I'm so glad you're joining in. Be sure to subscribe so that you get notifications, so that you can stay up to speed with all of the new videos coming out. And let's dive right into our December 1st, or I should say day 1 reading. So we're going to start these readings. I'm going to keep it pretty flexible, but I already know we're going to start each of these readings with a tarot card, an oracle card, and then an astrology card, which could be a planet, a sign, an element, as well as the tarot cards we usually do. And then any other oracle cards that I may be feeling drawn to pull. So today's oracle card is Elegance, and the astrology card is Mars. So really interesting duality here. So with the Elegance card, of course, we have the embodiment of the divine feminine. And of course, this is not just in a performative or external way in terms of how you look or dress or anything like that, but this is also talking about that soft, heart-led existence, being able to lean into your emotions and elevate through the grace and compassion and acceptance that we have of our inner world. This is about responding instead of reacting, choosing clarity and peace over chaos, trusting our intuition, surrendering to the universe and divine timing without feeling like we need to force outcomes or feel that inner resistance. This is also about finding beauty in simplicity and simply allowing your energy and your feelings and your emotional embodiment to speak louder than your mind, your fear, your egoic driven thought patterns and subconscious limiting beliefs. So as you are going through this inner transformation and all kinds of transitions in your life, you are going through this with grace, and you may not have all the answers yet, but your soul is guiding you to move with intention. And that's what matters here. And we've spoken before on this channel about the refinement of our energy. And Spirit is saying your elevation begins with the refinement of your energy. So this is about really fine-tuning our energy, even if it means we become a little bit more sensitive, because that's what gets us to a place of having that clarity, knowing what it means to be in full alignment with our soul's highest path, knowing what our inner truth is, so that we can carry that into how we show up, how we embody our most empowered and authentic selves in every action and every thought that we take. And that is really where you are embodying elegance. When you get really clear on how you're feeling, how your body feels, what your heart and your soul is trying to tell you, the whispers, the nudges of your soul, that refinement is such an elegant and beautiful part of your spiritual journey. So with the Mars card, we of course have this duality with the masculine energy. Mars is associated with the god of war. Of course, it can represent things like aggression, but it's also about what drives you. It could be competitiveness, assertiveness, but it's also courage and confidence and the strength and drive to pursue your passions. So, balancing that inner divine feminine, which is the part of you that is really in touch with your body, your feelings, your heart, your soul, and Mars, which is that inner divine masculine, which takes the action, which provides that protective container for your elegant inner divine feminine to do her reflecting, to get in touch with her visions. So together they work and they have a synergistic effect. So especially if you identify as a twin flame and you're on that twin flame journey, you are dialed in to the ego death and the union with self. And the union with self comes through that graceful inner union between the divine masculine and divine feminine. And the message from Spirit with the Mars card is to channel your fire deliberately. Let that desire fuel you. Let your actions stem from clarity. So with that being said, to start us off here, I feel like this has set such a beautiful tone for our first reading. We're going to start with the tarot cards. So we've got the Seven of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Six of Swords to start. So with the Seven of Cups, of course, we've got many options, potentially a feeling of being scattered, potentially a variety of emotional storylines or narratives that you are juggling or bouncing between. But ultimately, this is the option of multiple possibilities. Even if it feels like you're just being pulled in multiple directions, there is a valuable opportunity here when it comes to your personal path. So if you're feeling like you're wondering what timeline you're being called to enter into, or you're confused about what next steps, or you're feeling like there's a lot of illusions or fantasies about which actions to take, and you're just maybe overwhelmed by emotions, anything like that, Spirit is reminding you, you do not need all the answers today. You just need to choose what feels true for you in any given moment. And when you commit to knowing yourself, knowing what's true for you, and constantly seeking to recognize that, because of course we're going to change and grow and transform on this spiritual journey. And so what's true for you at one point may change and not be true for you at another point. And of course that can, again, feel like you're being pulled in multiple directions, or you're not sure what timeline it is that you're headed towards, what version of yourself you're stepping into. But each moment that you commit to doing your best to, silence your mind and feel and know what your body, your soul, your heart is trying to tell you, that's all you can do. And when you have a collection of moments like that, then ultimately you become that highest version of yourself that is fully aligned. So also with the Mars card reminding us to take action, there is a need for you to direct your energy into one of the Seven Cups, right? Because with the Seven of Cups, we have multiple options, possibilities, directions. And it's interesting because I just posted an end of year reflection. It was a special extended reading, and we talked about the different facets of life, and we did a tarot reading and energy update for each one, but it also served as like a live workshop where you could reflect on the facets of life and, take that time to set an intention and set a goal. And so it's so fitting that the Seven of Cups is coming up, because we actually categorized it by 7 facets in that reading. So definitely check out that extended reading if this is resonating with you. But you may be coming to this reading having listen to that reading and feeling maybe overwhelmed by all of the 7 facets and which one do I feed into first. And we even talked in that reading about how, the first facet is your spirituality, and that's always going to be the first and foremost priority, because that's, at the end of the day, your spirituality, your self-transformation, that is the one area of your life that is going to be with you no matter what. And so the rest of the facets of life, like your health or your free time or your home or your love life or your friends or career, those are for you to categorize and prioritize. Those are for you. Only you can determine what is a priority. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we do need to rank priorities, because if you really were to list out all of the things that matter to you, all of the things that you want to put your time into doing, it would very much feel overwhelming and feel like there's not enough time to feed all of those aspects, all of those facets. And ultimately, there is a way that we can feed and pour into each of the facets, but it does take a discernment and, again, a fine-tuning of which ones are the priority. So with Mars coming in, Mars is telling us, okay, make that decision. What is your priority? And this can shift. Maybe you want to spend a few months or a year, whatever it may be, focusing on one facet, and getting that one up to speed and really pouring into it before you can focus on the other ones. A typical example is somebody who wants to pour into their finances and career, or maybe even, get clear on where they want to live in their home environment before they pursue love life and romance, right? Like, take it as it resonates. But if you listen to that reading and you go through those facets of life, you'll know, your intuition will speak to you as to what and how you need to prioritize. So again, with Mars and the 7 of Cups combined, we're definitely getting that energy of pouring into one meaningful cup especially, and then, prioritizing the others accordingly. But really try to direct that fiery energy of taking action into a facet that you are very committed to improving and transforming in your life. And of course, it's not to say you can't work on multiple facets at the same time, but the main idea here is that Mars wants you to get clear on a goal and not just pour a little bit of water into every of these 7 options. So, with the Knight of Swords, we also have that action-taking energy. It's very much aligned with this Mars card. We're talking about quick movement, urgency even, an intense focus and determination. So again, picking where and what of those facets you want to prioritize and commit to. Set that intention, make those goals, and really pour into just a few top priority areas. And because the swords is the air element of intellect and our mind and mental clarity, this could also be a kind of light bulb breakthrough moment where you get really clear. And that's why I think that you should definitely check out the special extended reading if you haven't already, and go through those 7 facets. You owe it to yourself to take that time to reflect on your life. And this is how we consciously manifest, and co-create with the universe to create the life that we dream and desire. And so with the Knight of Swords, this is about getting clarity, getting a huge realization, and being able to navigate it with decisive action. And I also want to touch on the combination of the Knight of Swords with the Elegance card, because of course, this isn't just about that action taking. It's also about the divine feminine, having that moment to reflect, receive those intuitive nudges that come to us, to get in touch with our subconscious, to create the vision. That's that elegance that comes with the divine feminine. And so this is about slowing down the mind, allowing the truth to come to you through those subtle intuitive nudges and soul whispers, and not through force, right? Sometimes with Mars and the Knight of Swords, we feel like we have to go, take action, see results. But the divine feminine reminds us to approach life from a place of surrender and from more of a aura of grace and elegance, and to allow yourself that time to reflect and get clear on the vision, just as much as you allow yourself that time to take action. And then when we do take action, of course, it's with intention and from a decisive and self-knowing place. So when we got the Six of Swords here, I'm definitely picking up on this shift into a more calming place. We're leaving the choppy waters. We've got a more peaceful existence ahead of us. It's that transitional energy, that pivotal energy we talk a lot about on this channel, that walking through that portal, that entering a new timeline, moving out of confusion and mental noise and chatter. And, with the Seven of Cups, that feeling pulled in different directions and feeling scatterbrained, or feeling even like emotional up and downs, and moving into clarity and peace. So this is where we shift from chaos to a sense of direction and knowing what our vision is and what our plan forward is. So whatever we were feeling emotionally attached to, or scattered about, or overwhelmed by, we're able to experience greater emotional detachment as we move into those calmer, more peaceful energies. And we leave those inner turbulences behind. We choose to heal instead of to spiral, because ultimately and truthfully, spiraling is always an option. Your ego can take you there in a matter of minutes, maybe even seconds, depending on where you're at in your journey and, how tamed your ego is. But we're always going to have an ego, and so spiraling is always an option. So let's remember that we also always have the option and the power of choice, the power of free will, to move away from that, to move towards healing, to move towards calmer waters, to move towards mental calm. This is what we deserve, and this is what we want. And if this resonates and feels good to you, then it is for you. You have that power to reach calm, to have more peace in your life. My cat is confirming that. So this is about distancing yourself from those old patterns, those old cycles. And, as you choose where you want to take action in life, which of the 7 cups, which of the 7 facets you want to feed into, where you want to take action with the Knight of Swords. As you do that, you are moving towards clarity and calm and peace. And that's the transition and the evolution that we're here for. And we're doing it gracefully with that Elegance card. And we're doing it courageously as well with the Mars card. So let's see if we can pull any last cards for this reading. We have the Two of Wands and the Page of Cups. So yeah, definitely that kind of beginning. I love that this is kind of the energy we're getting on day 1, especially. It's so fitting because it's really that beginning stages. The Two of Wands is all about making a choice, seeing the vision ahead of you. Your future timeline is calling you forward. This is where you transmute your intention into direction. And, coming from the 7 of Cups, the Two of Wands is that starting point where we've made a decision, we're ready for expansion, we've imagined and envisioned what we want ahead of us, and we're looking at the road ahead, and we're ready to step into the next chapter. We're prepared to act from clarity, not from confusion, not from places of emotional overwhelm or scatterbrained energies. So again, we're acting from alignment, not from some kind of reaction. That's that Elegance card that we're embodying as we move forward. And we're also in this balanced way, allowing our ambition and our action taking to be guided by our intuition. So there's that inner divine union of the masculine and feminine. So you're not stuck anymore. You're not waiting anymore. Again, with the Six of Swords, we're on this journey. We're moving forward. We're moving towards calmer energies. We're not stuck. We're not waiting. We've prepared and we are ready to start taking action. And we've chosen the timeline that matches our most healed, authentic self. So we're coming from a foundation of self-knowing and intuitive alignment. And lastly, with the Page of Cups, this energy of softness, connecting back to this Elegance card as well. It's a heart-centered beginning. It's emotional openness, even a sense of curiosity and that inner child. So as you move forward, keep that open heart. Be receptive to your intuitive nudges and allow your inner child to lead in your creativity. Especially if, you're working on creative projects, really get in touch with that inner child and inner emotional fulfillment. Really tap into that gentle inner knowing that you always have. And the Page of Cups can also be new emotional beginnings, whether it's external or internal, but of course everything starts internal. So when I do these readings, I intend to speak on your internal world and you rather than like your twin flame or external things that are out of your control. But when we get the Page of Cups and we talk about emotional beginnings or emotional availability or reopening of your heart, this could very well lead to external relationships. But Spirit is, of course, always going to want you to evaluate this from a mirroring way of looking at yourself. So in what ways can you open your heart a little bit more? Can you soften a little bit more? Can you achieve more emotional awareness and clarity? So there's also a reminder here that your healing can be a gentle process. Your energy is cleansing and your heart is ready to reopen. So I'm going to pull a couple extra bonus oracle cards here from the Tree Keepers Oracle. We have actually two just popped out. We have Keeper of Inclusion and Keeper of Play. So the Keeper of Play, of course, is aligned with our inner child that we were just channeling into. But let's read the Keeper of Inclusion first. So this is number 12, which is in numerology, and number 3. So that could be of significance for you. It says, "You deserve every beautiful and lovely thing. You also deserve to know yourself as a beautiful and lovely thing. In order to achieve this awareness, harmonize with the song of your soul. This means you must be willing to take all the pain, suffering, worries, hopes, dreams, and joy of your life and of this moment and synthesize them with compassion, reverence, forgiveness. Don't abandon any part of yourself or your experience. Embrace the tears and laughter. Allow yourself to soften towards all you have judged wrong or bad. Invite all the ugly parts and painful memories into your soul's song. And then sing. Remember, the birds who adorn the trees don't sing because they're talented or gifted. They sing because they have a song." Wow, that's a beautiful channeling here. And this is so in alignment with this concept of knowing yourself. knowing yourself on a deep level, as well as taking in all aspects of your journey with compassion and acceptance and moving forward. Not allowing your past narrative to shadow your present and future visions, but to accept them in and continue to sing your song, full of joy and love and acceptance. So with the Keeper of Play as our last oracle card here, we have, this is number 16, so numerology is number 7. It says, just like a tree's limbs can support a swing of joy, your arms can hold a great deal of play. Too often, our own limbs are weighted down by responsibility, demand, guilt, or shame. It's time to construct a swing of joy in your heart. Remember your inner 3-year-old who stood on her head or hung from the monkey bars just for the joy of the tactile experience? This wasn't mere folly. The tree keepers knew that play opens pathways to problem solving and creative genius. It's not just enjoyable for the inner child, it's also essential for the outer adult. Fill your arms with the lightness of play, and possibilities will take flight. Doors will appear where there were only walls. Oh, that's such a beautiful message. So definitely with the Page of Cups, this is aligning this sense of inner child, tapping into that creative flow by gifting ourselves the joy and the play that our heart desires. So, wow, this was a beautiful first reading. You are entering these next 31 days, this next month, whenever you're listening to this, with a beautiful blend of grace and action, softness and strength, clarity and openness. Let this be your anchor as we move day by day on this journey into deeper alignment. So thank you so much for joining me here on day 1. I look forward to seeing you on day 2. And until then, bye.